Everybody on YouTube, I'm Owen H. Welcome to What's It Worth. Since Jurassic World Rebirth has already been out in theaters, and I did see it, which you can click to the next video after this is over, I'm finally wrapping up my Jurassic special with my review of Jurassic World Dominion. 4 years have passed, and the world we knew has changed, where humans and dinosaurs are forced to coexist. But when a crisis that threatens the future of humanity arises, heroes of two different generations join forces to overcome deadly obstacles in order to find a solution before it's too late. Dominion is one of the whole bunch of movies that were put on hold during COVID, and it took, I'd say, about a year or two till it eventually got its release. Was the movie worth the wait? Kinda. Don't get me wrong, it's a good movie, but the film has a lot of issues, and most of its issues comes from the first half of the film. You get the impression like Colin Trevorrow got really depressed during COVID, and because of that, it's like he went back and rewrote the first half of the movie. It was like it was casting an ugly reflection of the real world. Like, it was recalling COVID-19 and how humanity changed for the worst because of it, and how it just kind of comes off as kind of like a really depressing vibe. First of all, you never put that kind of crap in any kind of movie, especially movies that kids watch. You know why? Because we, as moviegoers, we got enough problems of our own. We go to the movies to escape reality. When you're throwing reality in our faces, it makes the movie less entertaining and kind of ruins. I don't know, it was like the film just kind of became a vessel for political and social messaging on top of brainwashing you into the new normal.
Is this the new normal?
New normal. Okay. Though I actually did like the concept they came up with, where humanity faces a worldwide crisis, especially when genetically modified locusts that have prehistoric DNA encoded into them, and they're set loose and they're feeding and multiplying so rapidly, and they're feeding on the crops all across the country. But the thing is that they go after natural grown crops where they don't even touch biosyn grown crops. Yes, biosyn that was mentioned in the Jurassic Park novels, which is InGen's competitors. Like, they had really good action sequences in the first half, but it revolved around this jumbled mess that I can't even tell if it's because the film was rewritten or it was just they just didn't know what to do with the first half of the film. It feels like you're watching Yellowstone with dinosaurs, then it's like you're watching some spy James Bond ripoff heist thriller thing. So they just kind of just throw in all kinds of BS in there to try to keep it somewhat enticing. Since Maisie gets kidnapped and Owen and Claire are trying to get her back, and it's a mess. Let's just put it that way. Now, if I was to choose which version of the film I'd prefer, I would go with the extended version over the theatrical version, because there's more to the extended version. However, there is one part I am glad they completely removed from the theatrical version, which is at Alan Grant's dig site, and there's these two teenage dunces that it was like they were basically mocking and being disrespectful to one of the series' biggest heroes. Oh, why? Because you're on your iPhone all the time on social media? It makes you smarter and better than everyone else?
That the T-Rex had a tiny brain.
Oh, and you don't?
Jeez, I don't get why we're here digging up bones. It's just...
Actually, you should be more like thinking, why isn't my face shown in the movie theater? When it comes to the new normal, that's how kids are nowadays. Okay, we're going to stop talking about the new normal. Just thinking about it just pisses me off. Another thing about this film that I wasn't crazy about is what they did to Maisie's origins.
No, Maisie, actually he didn't. Charlotte made you.
Wait. Back up. Did they just retcon Maisie's origin story? Let's recap on that.
Lockwood never had a grandchild. He just wanted his daughter back, and he had the technology. He created another. He made her again.
Is that me?
Yeah. Just like Blue, Charlotte was able to have a child all by herself. She created you with her own DNA.
So I do have a mother.
Your grandfather didn't want anyone to know the truth. He was protecting her.
What? That has got to be the worst example of retconning next to Luke Skywalker, but we're not talking about that right now. When they changed her origins, it made less sense than it did before, and it was like, you know, what was Trevorrow thinking? Enough with the negatives about this movie, and let's move on to the positives of this film. And that would be the second half. You kind of fast forward past, like, up to the Malta scene, and then you watch the movie afterwards. That's when it starts feeling more like Jurassic Park. Like the Jurassic movie you wanted to see, and and not just this crap that they put in the beginning of the film, which we don't need to see that. But, you know, that's how movies are. Another one of the film's greatest benefits is not only the return of Owen and Claire and Maisie, but also the return of the original cast. We're like, it's about damn time. Yes, I am referring to Laura Dern as Ellie Sadler, Sam Neill as Alan Grant, and of course, Jeff Goldblum for a longer role and a bigger role as Ian Malcolm. Of course, B.D. Wong reprises his role as Dr. Henry Wu, who goes from being really shady, greedy, to becoming regretful, and he feels responsible for letting the locusts loose and having the human race face a global famine. And he feels like he has to try and convince Maisie to help him figure out Charlotte's research to stop the locusts, which it was a good idea. I like the concept, but I really didn't like how they retconned her origins. Just fit that concept in there. Film also touches up on a character you briefly saw in Jurassic Park. He's much of a bigger character in the books so far, and they give him his biggest villain role in this movie. And I am referring to Lewis Dodson of Biosyn. The guy who plays as Dodson, I mean, he did a really good job. Even though the only role I remember him in was Peter Parker's father in The Amazing Spider-Man, he did a pretty good job playing as this guy where it's like you really buy into his words and you're thinking he's this really nice, generous, kind-hearted human being who wants to change the world for the better, but you end up seeing his ulterior motive where it turns out he's just a greedy, money-grubbing asshole who wants control of the human race's food supply, which is why he lets out the locusts to feed on all the natural crops where it doesn't touch any of the biosyn seeds. Now, how Lewis Dodson was kind of described in the film is like arrogant and reckless, and how he just jumps ahead on something and doesn't think about the consequences of what would happen. It's pretty close to the book as to how he's described. I'm still reading the book so far, so I'm not quite caught up on him yet. But yes, there is one passage that actually does describe him as how reckless this guy really is. But the good news is karma catches up to him and he gets Nedried in the end 3 times. If you don't know what Nedried means, just watch the first film, then you'll get what I mean.